as a parent, how can I explain to my kids all of the events happening around the world today in a way that informs them but doesn't traumatize them?
Yeah. As a parent myself, and as a human being walking through this season of our country, our world, um, there's some difficult issues that we're wrestling with. Probably the most important thing is communicating and setting as the backdrop for everything, recognizing the sovereignty of God. And speaking that into the lives of your children as you're communicating. We are going to go through hard things, but we are never beyond God's reach. In fact, we're never out of his hands. So, and he walks with us through those seasons, hard as they may be, right? But we are always cared for. So really emphasizing the sovereignty of God in all things. It's huge. So, and from there, also recognizing your own humanity, your own limitations, and making sure that your kids recognize. And I would encourage you to make sure that you communicate, I'm sorry, forgive, and ask for forgiveness if you make a mistake, or if you lose your patience, or you find yourself overwhelmed in a moment associated with current events. Let your children see repentance in you, so that they can follow that model as well. And that's so encouraging to a child, a young man or woman, to see someone whom they respect and honor really recognize their own limitations and trust in the sovereignty of God as well.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Also, having young kids myself, just the idea, that God is in control. Do you feel like, though, there is like a specific like filter to keep in mind, like depending on like the age of the kid, like how much to share or like how to share that? Or do you feel like it just depends on like the child's maturity, or what do you think kind of influences like what, actually, like, okay, we're watching the news together. When do I shut it off, or when do I like decide I'm just going to share the news? Do you feel like there is a way to like do that in a way, or like there's a specific way to do that, or is it just kind of we're all learning together?
Yeah, there's definitely an aspect in which we're all learning together. And every child is unique, right? I mean, there's not even a line that you can draw there in terms of age, because some children are going to be more mature and able to deal with things. But yeah, I'm not sure that I have a good line to draw there. Trust your own relationship with your child, right? Trust that, and be intentional about facilitating and developing that relationship in such a way that when you need to make those hard choices, and honey, we're going to turn this off and we'll talk about this. Let's talk about this offline, or it's not always that simple, right? I wish that it were, but recognizing that those breaches in relationship they're going to happen. So, and being intentional about making time to facilitate that connection with your kids, so that you become that filter in a sense for them, as you learn to, or as they learn how to engage a very tumultuous world at times. So
really, I really appreciate that, because I feel like sometimes we can get so caught up like, well, this event's okay, this like, how do I'm going to focus on the actual event versus like the overarching theme is like, okay, trusting God, but also like kind of what you talked about, like, okay, my focus is not researching this event, what's good information, but did I invest in my child, our relationship, so that they trust me as the filter? and like trust, like, and even for us to be able to know enough about each other that we can share this information back and forth. So I really appreciate that. I feel like as a mom, I definitely caught up in the details versus like, what's the overall goal? Like, even when I'm shielding, like, what's the goal in that, you know?
You bet. Yeah. And there's a paradigm that I work with. I often talk about when the difference in the balance between protection and preparation. So early on, we're really high on protection, right? But over the years, the preparation really needs to ramp up as protection decreases, because we're preparing our children to be responsible adults in this world, right? And that's really hard when we love these little ones, right? And again, those are such personal decisions. But certainly being mindful as a parent that I'm moving toward preparation as their years increase. So, yeah. And a lot of that is relational, right? Much more than it is about the details of what's going on in the world. As long as they really know that mom, dad love man, that's a safe place for me to go. Man, does that cover over a lot of, a lot of difficulties. So a lot of that is relationship.